when I post this video again on YouTube, and when I like repost this and chop it up, there's gonna be 110 people that come in the comment section and try to explain away this. And I tell them, stop wasting your time, because you're not gonna convince me, a person who can think for himself, that what Kanye West is doing is some big art experiment. He's a bad guy now. My name is literally Hero. He's a bad guy. That's just how it works now. NANI? Dynamite! Dynamite! I don't know where to start with this. Like, so, what's up, everybody? Hey, how you doing? My name's Hero, and this is the Identity Booth, where we are documenting the downfall of Kanye West. For all you guys that don't know, this is Kanye West, formerly, this guy is Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. And I want you to understand something. Kanye West, this is his second interview now, and he's talking about anti-Semitic things. In the first interview that he had with Alex Jones, he talked about how much he loved Hitler and the Nazis, and he called himself Yatler. He just became flat out Yatler. And he was banned from Twitter for posting a swastika and a Star of David combined and calling it a peace symbol. And during that interview, he wore a black mask, and during this interview, he wore another black mask. And I want to bring something to the significance of this black mask. It's a sign that this man is ashamed of himself. And he's ashamed of himself subconsciously. I think he is sort of, and this is like big brain shit here, but he thinks that people are associating his message with his face and aren't getting it. So he wants to take his face out of it and keep spewing hate. And what Kanye West probably doesn't understand is most people just aren't a fan of hate speech, bro. It's not top tier quality stuff. It's not something that rises to the level of interest for the common person. So he's kind of baffled by this, and in listening to his speech, he's being coached clearly, because he went from saying I love Hitler and all the Nazis couldn't have killed all the Jews. That's a lie. To it's not this, that. He's wrong. He's being coached. And even in his team, Nick Fuentes, which is this nerdy 25-year-old, 24-year-old kid who's a full-blown Nazi, is in control of Kanye. Kanye has been a puppet since 2016, in fact, since the moment he said George Bush doesn't like black people. And I think it would be hilarious now if fucking George Bush said, I don't think Kanye West really likes black people either. So there's that. But Maya Annapolis, who was a third associate, just got fired left Kanye West's political strategist team because there's conflicting things. There's people in Kanye's group who want him to go more extreme, and there's people that want him to dial it back. Because a dog whistle is at its best when only the dogs can hear it. If everyone can hear your message very clearly, then it's just a whistle, and that draws attention to you. Kanye West is not, I'm here to say, there's no coming back for him. So this is why I call it a documentation of his downfall. For me, there is no coming back. But let me show you the type of people he thinks is going to be able to, this person thinks they're going to be able to salvage him. And it's crazy.
She has this welcome to the first episode of Saving Ye, where I am going to prevent Ye West from becoming an anti-Semite or a Nazi. I'm going to talk him off the ledge and bring him back to the understanding that our problem is liberal elites of all races. Kamala Harris.
He thinks he can save Ye. I'm here to tell you he can't save Ye. But listen, once again, I'm not going to say anything, but just listen to who he thinks the liberal elites are.
It's a major problem. Barack Obama is what started this whole mess, I would argue. We weren't really into racism before he came along. So
we weren't really into racism until Barack Obama came along. This is the person who thinks he's about to save Kanye West from being anti-Semitic. Did anyone ever tell this Gavin McInnes dude that maybe you need to fix your own racism first before, trying to save someone else? Just my personal opinion. Like, he looks like a hipster Santa Claus who does meth. And then lies about making the elves watch him beat off or some shit like that. He's just looks... This is the dude that's trying to fix Ye, though, right? That's his opening statement. Fucking less than a minute into the episode.
We're here. So this is Saturday afternoon, 2 days after the InfoWars interview. And I was just telling you before we started filming that we were watching it at home, and Ryan and I were just looking at each other. About every 20 minutes, we look at each other and just go, oh. Like, this is a big deal. This was an event. And I think that there's a spectrum of reactions, of course, and the biggest reaction, the most positive one, is it's the craziest, most punk rock thing since the Sex Pistols got kicked off the Bill Grundy show.
The Sex Pistols getting kicked off of the Bill Grundy show. What's cool, like, are you correlating a bunch of people who just were anti-establishment with being Nazis? Because there's nothing cool about calling Hitler cool. Like, you're trying to convince me that Kanye West shouldn't be a Nazi. I'm convinced this dude's a Nazi. Could you imagine a Nazi trying to talk a Nazi off the ledge?
But on the other end of the spectrum, people are saying this is bad for a presidential campaign, to say the least. Where do you stand on that spectrum?
I think it's awesome for a presidential campaign.
Yeah?
To have someone that's honest, that understands the state of the world, and that's ready to listen to what the American people need.
But Hitler's got a pretty bad reputation.
Well, who made that reputation? That was made by Jewish people.
Well, the murdering Jews was a pretty big part of his bad reputation.
Yeah, but some of it's incorrect. Also, the Holocaust is not the only Holocaust. So for them to take that and claim, we have abortion right now. That's eugenics. That's genocide. That's a.
This is a dog whistle. So he's just got coached up on this. It's good to hear that he's coherent, at least, because the idea that abortion is eugenics. I mean, it's a decision between the mother, the doctor, and their decision to carry. If you're telling me there's some conspiracy out there that was making women abort certain type of children, you're wrong. Furthermore, you're dumb and you're wrong. You're dumb, dead wrong.
Holocaust that we're dealing with right now. So because Jewish people control the majority of the media.
That's another statement that's really interesting to me. Jewish people control a majority of the media.
Welcome to Anti-Semitism Uncovered, a video series by ADL created to explain and combat the most common anti-Semitic myths. Although Jews account for just 0.2% of the world population, a common anti-Semitic trope is that they dominate and control the world's banks, media, governments, and other institutions to advance their agenda. The notion of Jewish control has been weaponized against Jews for centuries. In the early 20th century, Russian Tsarist police circulated a fictional account of a so-called secret meeting by Jewish leaders called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, where they purportedly discussed plans for world domination. Even today, some public figures spread conspiracy theories about a secret Jewish cabal working behind the scenes to influence global events.
On a now-deleted Facebook post, Green questioned whether California's deadly campfire in 2018 was started by lasers beamed down from outer space. Lasers, she says, somehow connected to the Rothschilds, the Jewish European banking family that targeted some of the oldest, laziest, most dangerous anti-Semitic tropes on the books. Jewish space lasers.
The satanic Jews, they control everything and mostly everybody.
I mean, it's not the Jews are bad, it's just they are the head of the Jewish mafia in the United States. They run Uber, they run the healthcare, they're going to scam you, they're going to hurt you.
This is a surprisingly enduring anti-Semitic myth. Why surprising?
The thing that's crazy about it is It's so played out and like old. It's like remember when they told you, like, it's like someone believing the Easter Bunny's real. It's just weird. They make up 0.2% of the population. When I was looking into it, they make up, like, it's just mathematically, it just doesn't make sense, right? They can point to one or two families. They talk about Goldman Sachs. Let's talk about the banks. I just thought, and it's not even, the thing that about this, it wasn't even pure research. It was just interesting to hear how the common person with common sense deducts and deduces that this isn't true. So I know most banks are multi-shared corporations, and most banks are owned by other banks, which are also multi-shared holder corporations. If you look at many banks around the world, you will rapidly realize that the myth of Jewish banking is just that, a myth. Most board management of majority of the world banks are also surprisingly to Jewish bankers, conspiracists, not to anyone else rather than low-on Jews. The USA, there are a number of financial constitutional firms and brokers, not banks, that were started by Jewish individuals and families, but a lot of these have also long since gone public and been transferred to multi-shareholder corporations. Goldman Sachs is an example of this, but we also know that they're basically owned by the people. Like, I don't know what this, like, it is a common lie from anti-Semitic, but one with zero truth to it. Just a minute's thought will highlight ridiculousness of this. It's just crazy if you think about it. It's just one, and the thing about it is, no one ever pushed back on these ideas. And it's just interesting to hear a common person talk about it in such refreshing tones, I guess.
Along with banks, along with real estate, along with malls, control the majority of the media, along with banks, along with real estate, along with malls. They can control the narrative. Like,
I want you to peep game real quick. Look at how Milo's shaking his head, almost as if he's doing it right.
Along with malls.
Remember the stuff I told you.
Control the narrative.
History is written by his fist is so far up. Kanye, hey, what's up? Hey, it's Baloney. What's up, Baloney? Thanks for joining the stream. His hand is so far up Kanye West's ass, he's literally talking for him.
Winners. They were upset that Hitler was kicking them out of the country. By the time, the Holocaust, there was only...
Hitler was murdering people. Hitler wasn't kicking people out of the country. They were literally called concentration camps. At one point, he was kicking them out of the country. And then after that, he started capturing them and exterminating them. So, like, Kanye doesn't want to come to terms with the truth.
250,000 Jews left.
We're really diving into it here.
Let's get into real information at this point. What did they think were going to happen? Matter of fact, it's like, I think the Jews are like really, I think the Jewish, like Mossad and Rahm Emanuel and Bibi Netanyahu and all of them, I think they really got soft out here. Like, I'm getting to walk around and say the truth out loud.
Kanye West wouldn't go to any place other than America and talk like this. Kanye West would get that mask smacked the fuck off his face so fast in one of these countries. Assad is worried about fucking getting nuclear capabilities. You're worried about eating at a hibachi grill with a dude, a hipster. You're literally in a secret location with a hipster, Santa Claus, a homeless person, and you're wearing sunglasses times 10 inside. The people you just mentioned probably don't even know you exist. And they're waiting for you to get on a plane and come to theirs. It's easy to talk shit from your crib. Go to your ops block and spin it. Stop talking shit on your own block. Go to your ops block and spit it.
Oh no, they got him dropping headphones over here. But yeah, you know, Jesus is king. Really, you know, I just lean into what Christ needs me to do, and I'm 1,000% faithful as I can be as a man, and I repent for the things where I fall short. But the only way for us to bring America back to where it needs to be, this is a Christian country.
I just want people to remember, and Baloney, you make a great point. This all started because Kanye was losing his children, and he didn't know how to cope with that. How is this helping him or his children? How does this tirade help him at all? Like, what's his goal? Like, what is your goal? If your goal is to tell the world that Jewish people run everything, you've said that. What are you going to do about it, Kanye? Do you plan on extracting the richest Jewish people from the community? Like, usually when there's a grievance, there's a hearing session, there's a molding session, there's a meeting of minds, and then there's some type of action plan to fix it. Kanye West has yet to give us that. I'm genuinely interested. What's his game plan here? He has none. He can't have one. And if you ask anybody who's following his rhetoric, what do you want? What you want Jews to stop running stuff? Okay, name 7 people that are running shit that you want them to stop doing, and we'll get them to stop. And you know what? And there's a third option here. The people who platform him start getting destroyed. Because notice, he's not even be covered on CNN. And I think, and it sucks to say this, but I think it's going to be option 1. Whether it's through his own vices or someone, because would it be crazy to say this? If someone felt threatened by Kanye West's rhetoric and said he's going to cause someone to do something dangerous, and someone came for Kanye West, would that be a ridiculous right? Yes, that's bad. That's wrong. But if you told me that someone who was running for president is going outside, he's a white man, he's saying black people are destroying this country, and that there's no way that slavery impacted their lives that much, I'd say, you know what? If he got hit by a car, I wouldn't miss him. Clap it. Hypothetically speaking, wouldn't bother me. So, like, I'm trying to do role reversal here, but I think you're absolutely right, Baloney.
And it needs to be ran by Christian leaders that don't bow to Jared Kushner, that don't bow to Rahm Emanuel. You already know DeSantis is a fake
keep talking, my puppy.
We don't even know who the Democrats are going to put up. And yeah, that's my answer to that.
Okay, I'm going to have an intervention here for you and Nick, and let me just make a case. Yes, there are almost 80 to 90% of Hollywood is Jewish, probably more.
Jewish people make up less than 0.2 of the population of the world. And he just said out of his mouth that they make 80% of Hollywood. The top 20 best directors or 20 socialites in media. Steven Spielberg comes to mind. He's ranked number 28. If Sandra Bullock's Jewish roots matter, she's 20. All you have to do is sit here and name some of the best artists, actors, creators, producers, cinematographers, musicians, Hans Zimmer, Daniel Kluger, and you quickly find out that, oh, That can't be true. That can't be right. Like, you just sit here and think about your favorite artist, your favorite directors. How many of them are Jewish? It's mathematically not correct.
Media, yeah, I'm going to say like 80% of media is Jewish. But I see the Jews we're talking about in these cases as liberal elites, high IQ people, whites. And when you have, like, they're disproportionately represented in medicine, too, because they have high IQs. So the problem isn't these...
That's... Despite the fact that IQ is inherently a racist and biased system of gauging knowledge, where's your proof? Where's your proof?
Jews, and most of them are secular Jews, atheists. I don't see Soros as Jewish. So we have these secular, mostly atheist Jewish people with high IQs who dominate fields that tend to require high IQs. They're overrepresented in chess and mathematics, too. So the real issue here, and there is an ethnomasochism, there is some sort of like, let's burn it to the ground. But I think that trait is a white trait, a liberal elite white trait. Oh, not even white per se, a liberal elite trait. Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, they also have these traits. And there's some sort of like lemming DNA in white people where when they reach a certain amount of success, they just want to take it off a cliff. And I don't like when Jews get pulled into that, because when I think of my Orthodox Jewish friends and even my Hasidic friends, these people are conservative, Trump-supporting, you know, American patriots. And the Jews that are getting lumped in with this...
Under Over, he knows one Jewish person. It's like saying you know that one black person that votes Republican.
Sort of ethnomasochistic cultural suicide tend not really to be Jewish. I call them ginos, Jews in name only. It's liberal elite whites you should have a beef with.
Yeah, but I lump them all in together. That's what I did. That's
good.
That's why the tweet said that, Jewish people.
Okay. But this, like, you know, blacks are overrepresented in violent crime. But when you meet an individual black person, you don't apply that. You start with a fresh slate every time you meet someone. Do you do that with Jews?
Nope.
This intervention isn't going very well.
What's funny?
I mean, when I talk to like Ron, I've noticed that Jews are a tenacious bunch, and they're great for every movement, especially the conservative movement. Who's helping me sue the SPLC? Ron Coleman. Who's helping me sue Rutherford for shutting down my talk, or Penn State for shutting down my talk? John Gross, Rabbi John Gross. I don't know, they tend to get the system, and maybe it's because they've been ostracized from the system for so long, they're good at hustling.
They complicated the system. They put it in Yiddish.
Every business needs a hipster, a hacker, and a hustler. We're good hipsters in that we're creative. The hackers and the hustlers, that's like the tech guys. Asians tend to dominate the hacker part, the tech part.
This is just a cabal of racist bigotry trying to solve racist bigotry. The sheer madness, just the weird dog whistle. So the reason why I wanted to show this segment is Kanye West doesn't have a filter. So he says the loud part outside. He says the quiet part out loud. And this Gavin dude is a trained dog whistler. So he'll say things like, Chinese, the bunch, they're pretty smart. They'll be the hackers. He doesn't demean them, but he does stereotype them so that if you fall for it, next time you see an Asian person doing something smart, you'll say, oh yeah, your people are good at that. And in your mind, it's a compliment because you gave them in the positive light. But you're implying that's pretty much all they're known for, which is a stereotype. And whenever you catch yourself giving a compliment that you couldn't give to another demographic, I'm sorry to say you've fallen down the conservative, extremist, right-wing talking point. And there's no coming back from that. Unless you're in London, this London tattoo removal studio will laser off your Kanye West tattoos for free. And I just think that's a hell of a task. Shout out to this group. We're happy to hear it. We're happy to see it. Because who would have thought back in 2007, you getting a tattoo of your favorite artist on you would end up getting you fired from your job because Kanye West is being seen as a anti-Semitic symbol. When you as a person are just embodying the anti-Semitic symbol. Furthermore, in other news, I remember this article in TikTok. There was a man who has a restaurant. He saw somebody wearing Yeezys as he was trying to enter his restaurant, and he told him, "We won't serve people who wear those type of shoes here." And he was just like, well, I don't know why they wouldn't serve me. It's like because of what Ye said. He said he didn't know what Ye had said. Fair enough. Not unless you follow these things, you just don't know about it. Some people just see cool shoes and they buy them. They don't really know the story about it. The thing that's crazy is that the guy took the shoes off and put on sandals just so he could buy the food. And he said, now that I know, I want to respect those grounds. And I love that maturity, that growth, to understand that some things can be offensive even if you don't understand why. It's not your job to understand people's offense. It's your job to be able to empathize with bringing whatever level of comfort you need to bring them so that they don't feel offended anymore, right? As someone in the 0.76% of Kanye West listeners, I used to adore the man, and I'm a big fan of freedom of speech, but the past month, the excuse he made, graduation, doesn't work anymore. No, nothing. Like I said, when I post this video again on YouTube and when I like repost this and chop it up, there's going to be 110 people that come in the comment section and try to explain away this. And I tell them, stop wasting your time, because you're not going to convince me, a person who can think for himself, that what Kanye West is doing is some big art experiment. He's a bad guy now. My name is literally Hero. He's a bad guy. That's just how it works now. Yeah, that's it. But let me know how you guys feel. Like, share, and subscribe. Put it in the comment section. Let's get to